back into Talking Fitchburg. Time for your council recap with Chad Brecklin, your city administrator. Chad, we have a very, very busy agenda after taking off for the summer, one council meeting for the summer.
Right.
We had to definitely load it up here, so we'll get right into it. And we start with the mayor proclamation commemorating the 250th anniversary of the United States.
Yeah, the Common Council read a proclamation that since there wasn't a first council meeting in July, this was read now. But as was pointed out, the country is celebrating its 250th the entire year long. So,
not just in July 4th.
Not just July 4th.
The birthday happened, but it's the whole year. Yeah,
right.
Very exciting.
Yep.
And then there was a public hearing on the council's proposed amendments to the 2027-2036 capital improvement plan.
Yeah, there were a handful of folks that testified during the public hearing on some matters related to the capital improvement plan.
Fantastic. You can always watch that meeting here on Fact TV. We'll remind you a few times today of that.
Yeah.
All right, jumping into a commission and committees with Board of Public Works, a resolution approving the Second Amendment agreement to a subdivision improvement.
Yeah, so this is related to a subdivision improvement agreement that the city has with the Sub-Zero company. They're currently doing some reconfiguration of Basswood Drive, and some paving is needed there. And in order to kind of make this more efficient and create less seams or joints in the finished product, which would extend its longevity by limiting or reducing those significantly, they're going to take on and do some additional paving that the city will reimburse them for. So in order to accomplish this work, we needed to update and amend the subdivision improvement agreement, and that was approved by council.
All right. We go under Park Commission, a resolution approving the Hastahochi rental policy, park rental policy.
Yeah, so the Common Council approved this rental policy. The Park Commission had requested to add some additional language related to some indemnification and some other things. There wasn't a ton of discussion on this at the Common Council level, so as I mentioned, it was approved.
All right, on to Community and Economic Development, a resolution approving the Land Use Restriction Agreement, or LAURA, for participating properties for the Efficiency Navigator program.
Yeah, so the city has participated with Sustained Gain on the Efficiency Navigator program for a couple of years now, utilizing dollars or funds from the city's Affordable Housing Fund, which was created through the closure of successful tax increment districts. What this program does is it allows property owners, multi-family property owners, typically smaller buildings, we're looking at 4, 6, 8 unit type buildings, to make energy improvements that are going to benefit the tenants of those buildings. And one of the things that we have learned through our participation in this program is we do expect the owner who's participating in this project or program and receiving funds to upgrade the property to agree to keep the rent at an affordable level for a period of time. However, one of the things that we are looking to also address is that if that property owner who entered that agreement with the city and Sustained Gain sells the property, we want the affordability component or the land use restriction to remain with the parcel for a period of 5 years so that there's some return on that investment, and ensuring that those dollars are going to continue to be utilized to create affordable housing opportunities. So this is being added into the program. So now when somebody does sign on to the program, in addition to them agreeing as the current owner, any future owner of that property for that period of time will have to abide by this land use restriction.
All right, and then we have a second approving agreement with Sustained Gain for implementation of the 2026 Efficiency Navigator program. Yeah,
so this is a resolution that the council approved that allows our continued participation in the Efficiency Navigator program for 2026. About $500,000 has been allocated for this program. Again, that money is coming from the city's Affordable Housing Fund, not from tax levy dollars. And the Common Council approved this participation again. The Sustained Dane has already identified, I think, 12 recommended properties in which they anticipate energy efficient improvements will be made through this program.
Yeah, and if you check that the housing page, we have information up there on how the program works and a couple of videos breaking it down. So if you're interested to learn how it works, it's out there because it is pretty complex, but it's a really neat program, certainly. All right, moving on, then amending the 2026 CEDA budget for in-business insert.
Yeah, it's been some time since the city has advertised, if you will, to developers, businesses, both potential new business entities or existing business entities within the city. But ultimately, the Economic Development Department is seeking an amendment to utilize $25,000 to place a series of 4 ads in the in-business publication. And this also is not tax levy money. This is money that is coming from hotel room tax revenue. Those revenues occur when folks stay in hotels located within Fitchburg, and then you see the associated room tax that is added on to that hotel stay. Those funds are restricted by state statute within the way they may be utilized. We can't use those room tax dollars to support city operations, for instance. So we have to have a tie to tourism, visitors, those sorts of things, economic development. So this amendment was approved utilizing those room tax dollars that the city does have available to it for this purpose.
And people might not know, we need to share that story of what the city is doing, and we want to bring attention to bring opportunity here, right? So you might be like, why would you advertise under economic development? But that's your purpose, right? Is you want to bring eyeballs in to what's going on here in the city of Fitchburg, and we got a lot going on.
Well, well-rounded community involves a number of things, right? Not just housing units, which of course we continue to have a strong need for more housing units, but we need jobs. And we also need retail and commercial opportunities as well. So that's, the end goal of this advertising is to, continue to increase the awareness of Fitchburg, probably also highlighting our location within the Madison metropolitan area. I mean, we are a convenient jaunt or drive or bike or walk, however you want to look at it, to a lot of different destinations, both downtown and on the east and west sides of the metro.
All right, so we move on to Finance Committee and a resolution approving a contract renewal with U.S. Signal.
Yeah, the city has IT-related equipment at a nearby data center here in the city, and that offers us with some redundancy and some other nice features that make our networks more resilient and secure. And we have a new lease with the data company. We've had equipment there for quite some time. This lease is for 3 years, just over $2,100 a month, $76,000 and change over the 3-year period. That rate either stayed flat with no change from what we had been paying, or a very reasonable small increase.
All right, we move on to public safety and human services on operator license needing special attention. 2 items here. Yeah,
there were 2 license applications for operators' licenses to work at businesses that sell alcohol. Ordinances require in certain circumstances that applications require special attention via the Public Safety and Human Services Committee in addition to the Common Council. So we had 2 such applications that were presented to Common Council for consideration last evening, and both of those were approved.
All right, on to new business. On direct referral, a resolution accepting subdivision improvements in the Uptown Hills CSM.
Yeah, these public improvements weren't all completed in time for this meeting, so this item has been postponed to the August 11th Common Council meeting.
All right, Resolution 2 approving a certified map request for Peter Agent. Well, we're just going to leave it at that. What's Peter doing?
So, Resolution R 15726 and Ordinance 2026-0 or -22 or -0-22.
Easy for you to say.
Exactly, are both related. And what this does is creates a situation that allows a horse farm operation to remain, or horse boarding facility operation to remain and have that kind of carved off from the existing residence to create separate parcels for that. So you have the first item, which is the certified survey map, which kind of defines now these new parcel boundaries. And then the other item that's related to it is the rezone, which moves the property from agricultural exclusive to agriculture small lot in order to accomplish what the property owner is looking to do.
All right, similar fashion resolution, or next resolution approving certified map request for Frostwood Farms 3.
Yeah, similar situation here where two items. The certified survey map takes a rural parcel that's larger, puts it into a couple of smaller parcels. I think in this particular one, this is creating the ability to create a single family lot which somebody intends to build a home on, and then the subsequent rezone will go from exclusive agriculture to low density residential. So those again are tied to one another.
All right, on to number 6, a resolution approving preliminary plat request.
Yeah, so we needed to amend the preliminary plat that was submitted for a proposed development on what's referred to as the Fawside property, or the clean infill site on Highway MM north of McCoy Road. There is a developer who is proposing a project there that would bring some senior housing development, a couple of multifamily buildings, and I think about 39 single-family lots and another 20 or so townhomes, if I recall correctly. We needed to make an adjustment because one of the roads that was intended to be previously a privately owned road is now going to be a publicly owned street, and then continue on through another property when it is developed down to Lacey Road. So that was what was accomplished through this action at Common Council.
All right, our next ordinance is approving a rezone request. This is for the agent of Grace.
Yeah, so as we've talked about previously, Grace is doing a very significant project to bring nationally recognized Dementia Village here to their property in Fitchburg. So this is another step along that process where the property needed to be rezoned in order for them to continue on the approval process to do the work that they're proposing.
That's a pretty long plan, or there's phases to that project too, so we'll see some stuff coming here
exactly.
on that.
Yep.
And then our final unfinished business for the night was a resolution adopting the 2027-2036 capital improvement plan. Tell us the process.
Yeah, so obviously to get to this point, department heads submitted their requests and made modifications to the existing plan, and I will emphasize that this is a plan. And the mayor then released her capital improvement plan, I think in early June. Alders were able to provide amendments to that particular plan, to which we had approximately 15 amendments that were discussed last evening. And of course, there was a couple of opportunities for the public to come in and speak at a public hearing, one of which was at the meeting last evening. So Common Council discussed, debated, and otherwise took action on all 15 of those amendments in one way, shape, or form. The vast majority of those amendments were approved. I think there was one that was withdrawn by the alder that had initially offered it, and then I think there was one, at least one amendment that failed. So I would encourage anybody who wants to learn more about those. There was a specific packet in the finance section of the city's website that identifies those amendments specifically, any other supporting information associated with those amendments, as well as any staff memos in regards to those proposed amendments. And then, of course, tune into Fact TV and watch or listen to those that discussion on these items.
And was the plan approved overall by the end of the night?
The plan was approved at the end of the night, yes. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Our next Common Council meeting will be on August 11th with the Committee on the Whole, Committee of the Whole, August 26th. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.